Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I want to share something simple, practical, but incredibly powerful: how to make a pediatric referral that works every time by using the SBAR method. In the next few minutes, you'll see exactly why referrals often fail, how poor communication causes delays, and how the SBAR framework can help you get your patient the right care quickly, safely, and without hassle. Let's begin with a reality check. In pediatrics, we constantly rely on input from other specialties: surgeons for abdominal pain, ENT for complicated ear infections, orthopedics for injuries and fractures, cardiology, neurology, psychiatry, you name it. But here's the problem: many referrals get refused, bounced back, or delayed, not because the child doesn't need help, but because the referral itself is vague, unfocused, or missing key information. When that happens, precious time is lost. Families get frustrated. Patients may even deteriorate while we are stuck chasing callbacks and clarifications. So, why does this happen? Because many doctors, especially early in training, were never really taught how to refer well. So, they fall into what I call the narrative trap. They pick up the phone and start talking around the case. When the pain started, what mom said, what grandma said, but they forget to get to the point. The real concern, the relevant facts, and the actual request often get buried somewhere in the middle. So the specialist on the other end is left wondering, is this really my problem? Do I need to come? Can it wait? And when there's any doubt, guess what happens? The referral gets refused or parked until someone pushes harder. Meanwhile, the child suffers. So how do we fix this? We fix it with structure, and that's exactly where SBAR comes in. SBAR stands for S, situation; B, background; A, assessment; R, recommendation. It's a clear mental checklist that keeps your referral short, sharp, and impossible to misunderstand. Let me show you exactly how this works. Imagine you're in ED. A 4-year-old boy comes in with worsening tummy pain. Here's how not to do it. Hi, I've got a boy here with tummy ache. He's not eaten much since yesterday, vomited once or twice. Mum's worried he's not improving. Could you have a look? That's the classic narrative trap. It's vague. No working diagnosis. No relevant findings. No clear ask. So the surgeon thinks, probably just a bug. Call me if it gets worse. And nothing happens. Now, let's use SBAR instead. S, situation: Hi, this is Dr. Smith in ED. I have a 4-year-old boy with worsening right lower quadrant pain. I'm concerned about appendicitis. B, background: He's had 24 hours of periumbilical pain, now localized to RIF. 2 episodes of vomiting, not tolerating fluids. A, assessment: On exam, he has tenderness and guarding in the RIF. His heart rate is 130, temp 38.5, WBC 14, CRP 38. Our recommendation: I'd like a surgical review to rule out appendicitis and plan admission for possible surgery. See the difference? Same child, same condition. But now the surgeon has a clear picture, a clear reason, and a clear action to take. They'll come see the patient. No pushback, no confusion. Let's do a second example, very common in PEDS. ENT. A 2-year-old with an ear infection. Here's the bad version. Hi, I've got a baby with an ear infection. Been crying all night. On antibiotics, but not improving. Mum wants ENT to check him. Again, ENT hears this and thinks, that's otitis media. Keep going with the antibiotics. Not my problem. Referral refused. SBAR version. S, situation: Hi, this is Dr. Patel in PED. I'd like an urgent ENT review for possible mastoiditis. B, background: He's a 2-year-old on day 3 of amoxicillin for otitis media. He's worsening, very irritable, and now has swelling behind the ear. A, assessment: He has mastoid tenderness, the pinna is pushed forward, and there's fluctuant swelling behind the ear, temp 39. Our recommendation: I'd like ENT to review urgently for admission, IV antibiotics, and possible drainage. Now, the ENT doctor hears this is not just a simple ear infection, it's a surgical complication. It needs escalation. You'll get the review you need. One more to really drive it home. A 3-year-old toddler fell and won't weight bear. Here's the bad version. Hi, I have a toddler who fell yesterday, now won't walk. Mum's worried. He's crawling around but cries when standing. Not sure if ortho needs to see him. Orthopedics might think, could be soft tissue, why are they calling me? Now, SBAR. S situation. Hi, this is Dr. Khan in ED. I'd like ortho to review a toddler for a possible toddler's fracture. B background. 3-year-old boy fell while running yesterday, now refusing to weight bear. A assessment. No obvious swelling but point tenderness over distal tibia. X-ray inconclusive for fracture. Our recommendation. Please review for possible immobilization and follow-up. Suddenly ortho knows it's probably an occult tibial fracture. Imaging can be subtle. He may need a cast and fracture clinic. No confusion, no arguments, just action. So, what do we take away from this? SBAR works because it forces you to be clear about the problem. Give only the relevant facts. State your clinical assessment. Make a specific request. It cuts out the waffle and it shows the specialist that you know what you're talking about. This builds trust, saves time, and helps your patient get the right care without delay. Before you pick up the phone, pause. Get your key facts, vitals, exam findings, tests. Decide your working diagnosis. Know exactly what you want. Review, admit, advice. Use SBAR as a checklist. Be clear about urgency, routine, urgent, immediate. In the end, referrals are not just about passing the case on. They are about communicating clearly, advocating for your patient, and showing your colleagues you respect their time. So next time, don't just tell a story, structure it. Keep it clear, keep it focused. Your patient, your team, and the specialty on the other end, they'll all thank you.